Bobby, will you lead us in prayer, please?
Will you bow your heads with me? Dear Lord, as we come before you, we're thankful for this day and your many blessings. Thankful, God, that you are the God that you are. We praise you and lift up your name. We have many that is sick and afflicted in our friends and family, dear Lord. We ask your blessings upon them. Ask a special blessing on CJ's family. He lost his mother. On Pam Vanover, she lost her mother. Be with their families, dear God, and give them an ease and a peace that only that you can give. We ask you, Lord, to bless this meeting here today. Anything that's said and done, let it be done pleasing to you. Let us and lead us and guide us that we might help the people of Pike County. Ask this all in the name of Jesus Christ and for his sake, and amen.
Amen. Meeting come to order. Roll call, please.
Judge Diskins?
Yes.
Magistrate Anderson?
Here.
Magistrate Compton?
Here.
Magistrate Murphy?
Here.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Here.
Magistrate Varney?
Here.
Leo, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I need approval of minutes of March the 6th, 2018, March the 20th, 2018, and March the 27th, 2018. I need a motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Compton?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Diskins?
Yes. All right. Representative Aflax, would you come to the podium?
That's a line.
Aflax.
Good morning. We came last month, I believe it was, to present adding AFLAC as a benefit to county employees, and y'all requested that we survey the employees. We did do that. The surveys that we received back, we received 58 back. There were 52 yeses on the survey. So of what we received back, about 90% of the employees that returned their survey did say yes. The issue always with a survey is, I know there's 225 county employees, but most of y'all know you open your paycheck, get your paycheck out, and throw the other whatever else paper is in there away. So it's a good gauge, you know, the people that knew what the paper was and turned it back in. But then there's also the people who threw it away that maybe would want to have an opportunity also. So at your all's request, we did the survey. So those are the results that we received last week.
So what's the next step then?
Well, it would be up to y'all to approve for us to offer the benefit to the county employees. The other benefit that we can offer that we kind of discussed a little bit with Frankie was that we can offer each employee an accidental death and dismemberment policy that would be of no charge. So every employee, whether they participate in AFLAC or not, would have to come and see us and either waive that benefit or enroll, but that would be a benefit that the county could provide at no cost to the county or the employee, to every employee.
Did you take it up with your company about seeing if they could allow a percentage to help offset the cost on what it would take for our people in the office to take this up?
No, because I have a lot of large accounts, and it's really, in my experience, I can't say for everyone, but after the initial setup of that deduction, which I help, I help them set up, it's just every month it comes off automatically, so it really won't add hours to their work. It shouldn't add hours to their work because it's a payroll deduction, just like your medical insurance. They put it in there one time and it comes off your payroll. So I don't foresee a lot of issues with that, but I do live here in Pikeville, so I am available to help with any kind of issues like that. I don't foresee a lot of that being a problem.
Frankie, do you and John see a problem with that?
Frankie does more of the input on the payroll side than what I do, as far as deductions go.
I just want to make sure it's okay with you guys before we put any more work on you.
That won't be no major problem, you don't think, Frank?
It's like she said, after we set the deduction up, it's just like a monthly billing.
Yeah.
And then it'd be like a check that cuts like all of our other vendor checks for payroll.
Frankie, what happens if 2 or 3 months down the road, somebody don't want it anymore? Do they got to go through you, or?
Well,
Locked in for a year.
Are you locked in for a year?
Yeah. It's locked in for a year once they sign up for it.
we can set that up either whatever would be easiest for Frankie and John to that, however they want to do it. We can lock it in for a year. It's a pre-tax plan. What that does is move the deduction from after-tax to pre-tax, so you do save on your FICA taxes a little bit there, both the county and the employee, but that does lock the employee in for a year, so it does prevent a lot of changes. But then if that's not the route you want to go, we can set it up after tax where they could drop it, but that would be up to you guys. That would be totally your discretion.
So you got a 90% approval from the employees?
Yeah, we had 58 surveys returned and 52 said yes, so that's 89.6%. That was my fast math.
But
Where are they from?
probably about just 25 or 30% of the employees responded, right?
Yeah, well, when I did the math, so we had 225 people, so 25% of the surveys were returned, but if you look at it on the fact that if you got every other survey back and it said no, you're still looking at 23% of employees who did want to participate or at least want more information. So as far as the accounts that I work with on a large basis, that's a pretty good percentage, 25% of employees.
Was that $10,000?
That's a 30-something.
Well, I'll make a motion if that's what it takes, if it's okay with our treasurer and Frankie to acknowledge the
Said he doesn't
participation of the employees if they want to do that.
And I don't
I'll
remember
second that
check
motion.
yet.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
Magistrate Compton?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Barney?
Yes.
Judge Tiskin?
Yes. Thank you all very much.
Thank you for your time.
Hey, Judge, we got some representatives from Alliance Co. that are going to speak next, and I think they have to get on the road soon, if that would be okay. They've got a project they want to present to the court.
Okay.
Good morning, Judge, Magistrates. Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Rusty Ashcraft. I represent Alliance Coal and also have a couple of representatives of Alliance Coal. We have from our MC Mining, Excel Mining operation, we have our General Manager, Superintendent Joni Moore, and also another representative, Paul McCoy, here today. Thank you so much for putting this on the agenda. Time's of the essence, and that's kind of why I wanted to. We have a meeting next week with the Economic Development Cabinet, the KEDFA Board. Hopefully you have in your package a copy of a letter that we submitted. Also, in addition to that, a sample resolution. Let me just tell you a couple things first, Judge, and that is that MC Mining and Excel Mining have operated the Scotts Branch mining complex on Johns Creek continuously since 1996. During that span, the complex has had an average employment of over 250 employees and has paid over $250 million in local wages. The coal reserves, which have been accessed from this current mine that is being operated by MC and Excel, will be exhausted in early 2000. In order to prevent the closure of the complex, Alliance is pursuing every opportunity to invest nearly $76 million in a new reserve on Brushy. The hope would be that MC and Excel could seamlessly transition the current 210 employees, or I believe it's approximately 250 employees today, into this new mine. The new reserve contains approximately 15 million tons of clean coal, recoverable coal that could extend the life of the complex and the livelihood of the associated employees by over 12 years. During that period, MC and Excel anticipates paying over $200 million in local wages. I think on page 4 or 3, we have a table that talks about the amount of severance tax, which is a little over $3 million that's generated and anticipated to be generated during that time frame. And in addition, I believe it talks about other taxes that we pay in the local community. What we're here today to ask for is to aid in the KEDFA application, which we have a board meeting next week. I believe it's the 28th in Frankfort, Kentucky. And specifically what we're asking for is a letter endorsing the project from the, or in this case, a resolution from the appropriate local elected official. In this case, it's Fiscal Court. The letter must include the amount of the local participation in the job revitalization assessment fee. Specifically, the tax credit we're going for from the state of Kentucky is called KIRA, Kentucky Industrial Revitalization Act tax credit. In exchange for your assistance in this and for your assistance at a local level in aiding this application in terms of the tax that could help offset this KIRA application, we're also willing to participate and enter into a side agreement with Fiscal Court to help pay for the cost of the ambulance service. We would start, our first payment would be due in January 15th of 2019, and that represents a portion of every employee that be working at the MC Mining Complex. One other thing I would like to tell you about that project on Brushy is that Joni and Paul were telling me earlier today there are 3 other coal seams that we can potentially access from that facility over time. As we exhaust one area, we can move to, we're going to be operating in the Pond Creek, and can potentially move up to the Van Leer, and there are 2 higher seams that we can move up into. And if there are any questions.
Rusty, didn't y'all do this in another county as well?
Yes, we did. We did the same thing in Union County.
Union County.
And as a consequence of that process, we actually doubled our production that was anticipated. It was a 4-unit mine. By the time we went through the process, it became an 8-unit mine, and is now the largest room and pillar mine in the world. Again, I'm not anticipating, I'm not putting pressure on Joni and Paul back here, but every one of we operate in 6 states, and you all know the pressures in the coal industry and what we've seen, so every operation kind of stands alone. So, and these folks have worked so hard to basically maintain this and now to perpetuate and keep these jobs, and this is just part of the process.
Well, do you need my secretary to write a letter?
No, sir. I think we gave you a resolution, and I think it should be in your package, and I believe that's sufficient.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right, yes.
And
You read, Kyle.
No, have you read over it yet?
I glanced at it, yeah, it seems to be in order.
Want me to read it? I'll read it.
And one thing, Judge and magistrates, I also need to remind myself as much as anybody, this is still speculative. By that I mean it's subject to KEDFA approval next week, and then it would have to go before the Alliance Board of Directors for their final approval. Senior management has already approved this project, and now we're just trying to basically add every incentive that we can come up with to make sure that this project goes.
But you have to have this before you can
Yes,
proceed.
sir.
Okay.
We have to have this prior to the meeting next week. And sorry for the timing. Actually, one of the things that precipitated this is the go-ahead from senior management, but also this last legislative session there was talk of eliminating Kira and pausing it till 2022, so we would not have been able to use it. So we went ahead and took advantage of this opportunity.
Would you mind explaining number one after now therefore? Explain number one there, what that, as to what your interpretation of it is, as to what it really means?
That section.
Are we foregoing the occupational tax for them?
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, okay. That's what it says. Yeah.
There is a portion of the occupational tax would be included as part of the tax credit. And it has the Economic Development Cabinet. I understood they had reached out to the county. They've not yet?
No.
I was told that this morning, that they have not. Okay. That is the portion of it is what we're talking about with a side agreement by, the majority of the tax credits come from the state. But there is a request that local government have a certain percentage, very minor percentage of this tax credit. And that's the thing that we did in Union County, as we agreed to help offset the ambulance costs for the county. And that's what we're offering for Pike County also.
I haven't thing from finance. 1% of $2 million is a lot of revenue loss for the county, and I know it's a lot of wages, but I think we ought to look at this first before we adopt it.
Yes, sir.
Want to table it? We want to table it?
Just pass it over and just pass it over, and we can look at it in the next meeting.
I think he said he had to have it in this next week.
That's the timing issue, sir. I'd like to point out that 1% of 2 million is that 20,000 by my, Jeff, I know you're an accountant, 20,000 versus the closure of the operation in early 2020, and the taxes generated on that are much more substantial.
Herbie, could we make a motion that you and him or the company get together before the time frame, and if it's okay with you, sign it and authorize it? Could we do something like that so they wouldn't lose out?
Yeah.
Could you be available, Rusty?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
anytime.
We'll be available on that.
Okay.
Because we, y'all have been a great corporate citizen. I've dealt with y'all for years, and I know it's like you said earlier, the coal business. I mean, without it, we've all experienced the bad the ramifications of the downturn. But if Herbie can, whenever y'all find out when you're going to meet, I may want to sit down and meet with y'all as well.
Okay.
$2 million
No.
Herbie.
of 200 million.
Herbie, it's 1% of 200 million.
That's what I said. It's $2 million of.
So it'd be 2 million.
It's 2 million.
That's over the life of the project.
If there's 200 million wages, it's 2 million.
The 200 million is over the life of the project, which is 15 years.
Okay. Well, okay. All right.
Okay, divide by 15 years.
Yeah, I apologize. I should have been more specific when I said the 200 million.
$133,333. It's not 20,000 we're losing.
Okay. It's still, and ma'am, I understand what you're saying. It's still, when we're generating $3 million a year in severance tax. Yeah, and if you get it back.
The only thing we get is about 15% of 3 million.
But I think that.
Off the top, off the middle, and however the calculations go.
But I think that over 200 employees, and then the indirect impacts, which is in Kentucky, we use a multiplier of 3.5. For every job we create 3.5 other jobs.
Divided by 15's
So-
133,333. That could be 4 or 5 jobs
Okay, yeah, okay.
for us.
Okay, how do you want to do that?
Well, what's your schedule like, Herbie? I mean, Rusty, if y'all want to.
I can always make it available for that time.
Y'all just get together? I mean, I wouldn't care to sit down with you. I'd kind of interested.
I'm here for whenever we can meet. Just let me know and we'll be glad to sit down. We just need, if we're going to do this, we need to have it prior to the KEDFA meeting.
What day next week is that, Rusty?
I wish I was more, I know it's either the 26th or 28th, and I don't have my calendar, my phone in front of me. I'll get that date.
Herbie, don't we gotta have another meeting between now and the 1st of May?
No, we don't. We have a meeting on 1st of May. We may have to
26.
schedule a special meeting.
That's what I'm saying. Do we have something we gotta do?
Yeah, we got to set the salary of the,
Have to.
right, it has to be done by the first
Monday.
Monday.
Meeting is next Thursday.
First
The
Monday is the
Monday's
7th.
the 7th, so you can do it anytime before the first Monday.
Right.
Right.
Okay, yeah, Tuesday is May 1st, so you actually don't have to do
It would sort of be nice if I knew what the calculations were going to be in order to prepare a budget for the judge to submit to the court.
I think we ought to have another special meeting on that and
And the budget.
the budget.
Yes, sir.
I agree.
Before then.
Then maybe for us, you can get up with you sometime in the next
That's
week.
fine.
Anytime.
Okay.
Tuesday's what, 24th?
Yeah, the KEDFA board meeting, I believe, is Thursday, the 26th.
Some kind of doctor's appointment deal. I'll cancel it. I mean, it's more important.
Yeah, I can be I'm available anytime for a meeting. Jeff, if you want to sit down before that time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, just get the particulars.
I'd like, and hear your questions, and I'll make sure we have all the responses.
Okay.
Okay, it gives you an opportunity to take a look at it also, because I think we presented a lot of facts in the documentation. But if there's anything we're missing, but you and I'll get together here in a
Okay.
second.
That'll be fine.
Thank you, Rusty.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
All right. Jenny, who's number 3?
Me.
You?
Me, yeah. Judge, this concerns a resolution for approval for an application for a Kentucky Homeland Security Grant for Pike County Solid Waste and authorization to enter into an agreement and execute all related documents. This is asking for the resolution to apply for a grant that will be placed over at the landfill that will detect actually radioactive material, such as waste from the hospital, waste from people that have wanted to do away with radioactive some way, and then this will supposedly pick it up before it ever gets into the landfill. If the grant is authorized, it won't cost the county any, except for an installation, as I understand. Isn't that right, Bobby? It'd be put right at the mouth of the, when all the stuff goes into the landfill.
Yes, and you know, it detects like material from drillings and dirt that's maybe contaminated.
That can be made radioactive if it's near a gas or oil well. That's been.
Yes, and also it's a new EPA regulation that we got to abide by. So.
And this is a grant. Doesn't cost the county anything. If it's not approved, we'll just have to file it for another grant.
What's it gonna cost to get it installed, Bob?
I was talking to Charles about that the other day, and I can't remember what he said, but it was seemed like $18,000-$20,000 or something other.
To install it. Is there a present danger of radioactive material being in our valley field, or in our field?
Yeah, there's possibility, you know, that radioactive material, they say, causes cancer and so forth.
Yeah.
And this kind of system that we were talking about putting in is when the truck drives across the scale, there will be monitors on each side that can pick that up if there's anything in that truck that is radioactive. If there is something in there, that driver has to sit there till the state gets there, and they'll tell them what to do with it. They won't let it come into our landfill.
How come I'm just hearing stuff about that? Has that been a danger for some time, or?
It has always been a danger, but there was no regulations, you know, until now for us to abide by.
What about what's already in there? If it detects it, then.
I asked them about that too, and they didn't have an answer right in the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they probably are some.
Well, you know, it could mean we have to recover all the problems there.
And this radioactive material.
But if it's how we need to do it anyway.
It can be found in the soil. You can find it in rocks. At one time they said on top of Ford Mountain that those rocks were really hot back there at one time because it had some radioactive material in it. So.
Oh, that's when that spaceship landed.
All right.
You want to,
I need a resolution to adopt the resolution.
well, let's go and discuss this a little bit further at another time. There's some questions that.
Well, I think your deadline will be May 4th. Is that right, Sandy? Homeland Security deadline is May 4th? It is early May.
Well, we could look into it and then address it at the next meeting. That's.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that it was going to cost $20,000 to install it.
Charles is more up to date on that because he's working in that, so we probably need to question him somewhat on
Right.
it. See.
Will the cost of installation be included in the grant?
Oh, we've not got enough answers.
The Homeland Security grant? Will it pay for the cost plus the installation? Do you know what the scope of work was? Or have we sent one in yet? Okay.
No, it just came to my
Well, the scope
attention.
needs to say purchase and installation,
Yeah.
so it wouldn't be any cost to the county.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what we did with the generator, wasn't it, Doug? Is there any in-kind in this? Okay.
I think we ought to pass it over, Judge, till next time so we can have exactly what the cost is and how the grant's going to be written.
Okay, all right, we'll move on. All right, acknowledge the receipt of the Corporation Extension Service budget for fiscal year 2018, 2019. I need a motion to acknowledge.
Motion.
Roll call, please.
Second.
Magistrate Anderson,
Yeah.
Magistrate Compton,
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy,
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson,
Yes.
Magistrate Varney.
What did we do with this thing before that? What were you doing with that resolution?
Pass it.
Passing it over.
Passing it over until next time so we can get the specifics on the installation costs and whether or not it will be a part of the grant as written.
Hey, Herbie, Charles is over in the office if you want to discuss that. Sometime today, you're welcome to do so.
Okay.
Over
And we're just acknowledging this budget.
Yeah,
thing,
we're
right?
just acknowledging, that's right.
I
Yeah,
I vote yes.
Judge Deskins,
Yes. All right. Second reading of the Pike County Road Ordinance for Chestnut Drive. County Attorney's Office. You see that guy back there?
Pike Fiscal Court, ordinance number,
Does that look like
whatever
Paul
it's going to be.
Patton?
Notice of intended passage. Whereas it has been determined to be in the best interest of the public for the Pike County Fiscal Court to formally accept public roads into the official county road system, and whereas KRS 178.010 subsection 1B defines a county road as a public road which has been accepted by the fiscal court into the county road system. Whereas where the fiscal court finds that the 30-foot minimum cannot be met due to the topography of the road or other extraordinary circumstances, the 30-foot width would not be appropriate. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the fiscal court of Pike County, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, that the following road, being public in nature, be and is hereby formally and officially accepted into the Pike County road system and shall hereafter be a part of said system. The road number is District 6. The road name is Chestnut Drive. The length is 312 feet. Approved by the fiscal court this the 3rd day of April 2018. Adopted by the fiscal court this the 17th day of April 2018. Signed, William M. Deskins, Pike County Judge Executive.
I need a motion to adopt.
Motion.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Compton?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Deskin?
Yes. All right. Authorization of a cooperative drone sharing agreement between the Pike County Fiscal Court, the City of Pikeville, and the City of Coal Run Village. Doug?
Judge, this is an agreement that basically what is going on here, we're buying a drone that's shared in cost with the City of Pikeville and the City of Coal Run Village and our office. We'll house it, we'll maintain it as far as general maintenance and stuff on it. If anything gets in there beyond that, electronics, airframe and all that, it needs to be repaired. It'd be a shared cost between the three. We'll maintain it, we'll house it, we'll be the ones to fly it when it's needed and share it with those other agencies as needed.
All right. I need a motion to acknowledge.
How much is that going to be, Doug?
About $7,000 apiece.
About, yes.
A little over.
Motion.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson? Magistrate Compton?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Deskin?
Yes. First reading of a proposed ordinance amending the Pike County Administrative Code, Section 190, reestablishing the Pike County Museum Board. County Attorney, no vote at this time. Would you read, please?
First reading, reestablishing the Pike County Museum Board. Pike County Fiscal Court, Administrative Code of Pike County, Amendment to Section 190, reestablishing the Pike County Museum Board. Pikeville Pike County Museum Board. The board is composed of 9 members, with 3 members appointed by the mayor of the city of Pikeville and affirmed by the county judge executive, 3 members appointed by the county judge executive approved by the fiscal court and affirmed by the mayor of the city of Pikeville. 1 member shall be a board member of the Pike County Tourism Convention and Visitors Bureau and shall be selected by a unanimous vote of the Pike County Tourism Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Directors. 1 member shall be a board member of the Pikeville City Tourism Convention and Visitors Bureau and selected by a unanimous vote of the Pikeville City Tourism Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Directors. And 1 member shall be appointed by the President of the University of Pikeville. The initial board members' appointments shall be as follows. The mayor initial appointments. 1 member initial term shall be for 2 years starting April 1st, 2014 through April 1st, 2016, and then every 4 years thereafter. 1 member initial term shall be for 3 years starting April 1st, 2014 through April 1st, 2017, and then every 4 years thereafter. 1 member initial term shall be for 4 years starting April 1st, 2014 through April 1st, 2018, and then every 4 years thereafter. County Judge Executive initial appointments. 1 member initial term shall be for 2 years starting April 1st, 2014 through April 1st, 2016, and then every 4 years thereafter. 1 member initial term shall be for 3 years starting April 1st, 2014 through April 1st, 2017, and then every 4 years thereafter. 1 member initial term shall be for 4 years starting April 1st, 2014 through April 1st, 2018, and then every 4 years thereafter. Pike County Tourism Commission initial appointment. One member initial term shall be for 1 year starting April 1st, 2014 through April 1st, 2015, and then every 4 years thereafter. Pikeville City Tourism Commission initial appointment. One member initial term shall be for 1 year starting April 14th through April 1st, 2015, and then every 4 years thereafter. The University of Pikeville initial appointment. One member initial term shall be for 1 year starting April 1st, 2014 through April 1st, 2015, and then every 4 years thereafter. A second reading will be held on May 1st, 2018 at the court's regularly scheduled meeting.
Now, did we already have a board, a museum board, and they disbanded or what?
It's not,
Huh?
my information was that it was taken out of the administrative code several years ago. Go ahead, Gene.
There's no vote at this time.
Okay, for some reason, it was taken out of our county code, but they have been in existence the whole time. They meet, they're on the 4th floor of the Detention Hall of Justice, and I don't know why, but prompted us to do that, but we took it out, but we need to put it back in because they are over there. And they are, they're existing and they're open and so on.
Jenny, could that have been when they moved it from over here over to the...
I don't really, no, we changed that at that time to add more board members, and then, I don't know why we took it out, but it shouldn't be taken out. It should be there because they are operating.
So my question is, will we have 2 boards now, since we're doing this?
Yeah, whatever's in there, we do. I serve on the board. But if you have
So we won't have 2.
We're establishing a new board, aren't we?
no, it's the same board. We're just putting it back in there. We're just adding it back to the administration. But what's that, Lisa? January 15 or 16 or something, we took it. 16. At John Dutt's request. Or
Me and you.
Well, we have no vote at this time. We'll move on. Authorization for orders of affiliation with Grapevine Volunteer Fire Department. John Doug?
Grapevine has decided they wanted to start a rescue division within their department, and this is the same orders of affiliation that we approved the last meeting for the other groups, and we're just adding them into the mix. They'll
All right, I need a motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Compton?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Diskin?
Yes. Discussion of deed for Wolf Pit on the 460 corridor and plan for infrastructure. Herbie?
Yes. Judge, for people, we have an industrial park up at Wolf Pit. Consists of about 60 acres all told, 35 acres of it's flat. And the state is, after they find out what all the budget is for the department, is planning to move the Shelby garage up to that industrial site. And then they are in the process of preparing a deed to the county for approximately 38 acres of flat land. They are going to, depending on the budget, they're going to receive about $300,000 to place the infrastructure up there, which consists of water and electricity. We met with members from the Summit Engineering and several other, State Senator Jones, Bill, and you were there, and several other members to see how we could coordinate the whole effort. And instead of putting a 4-inch line, to run an 8-inch line up there, and to put three-phase in at the start, so we wouldn't have to use three-phase. We left the meeting very encouraged that the county and the state could work together, and that's where where it ended. We'll meet again, I think, in this next month to determine what plans or how soon the state can get us a deed for the portion that they're going to deed to us up there. And it will be then, we'll have that 35 acres for an industrial plant site.
We don't have to do anything till you meet again, right?
No, we don't have to do anything until we get the deed.
No.
And
Well,
then we'll probably have to negotiate with the state as to the larger water line and the three-phase power.
right.
It is not a very deep field up there, so we shouldn't have any problems geologically, and it could be a very fast go-go should the right person come along and need it. It's right off the 4-lane. Of course, if the Marion's Branch project goes, it would be a perfect site for one of the auxiliary things for that's Marion Branch to just go right and have an auxiliary making something for what they need, and it can be a pretty quick go-go.
And I think I've been meeting with them twice, and I think it will be done, Herbie.
Yes, I do too.
No.
This is the second meeting we've had,
Right.
and even met with the secretary down in Frankfurt earlier, and he's all for the project. And as far as we just need to get the deed, get it cleared up, and legal work. And their engineer said it'd probably be done in the next 30 days. The
Right.
deed and the description.
All right.
Wolf Pit.
Yep.
That's a big spot of land up there.
Yeah, it's 35 acres of flat land.
Yeah.
And it's already blacktop road to it already.
That's right. It's quick. We could move real quick on someone that'd be interested in, and you know that we could have several people if when the Marion Branch site is developed.
And I think it'll be worked out. All right. Discussion of the 2017-18 and proposed 18-19 budget. Jonda?
I need you all to give me some direction as to where you want me to go with the budget and what you want me to look at or not look at. And
and I apologize for missing the last court meeting. I called it the creeping crud. I don't know what it was. They tested me twice for flu, and it was negative each time, but I had part of bronchitis, sinusitis, and a couple of other pneumatises, I guess. I don't know. But it was, but I apologize, but I understand that we got some literature and stuff from the audit and all that stuff at that meeting. I'd like to get that when I can. You know,
where's your packet from?
I don't know.
Who took his packet from the last time?
In that right there. I probably had it and didn't even know it. How's that? Typical. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Okay, the only thing, John, that, you know, where are we on the coming in and the going out right now at this present time?
I still think we'll have close to $1.5 million left over, if not a little bit more. It just goes how the spending goes with the road departments and stuff through the end of the year.
Okay, is there any area that comes to mind that we're lacking a little bit in, whether either getting money in or spending money right now?
Both is doing well at this point.
Okay. Okay.
We're, I think, about 60, we should be at 75%. I think we're at about 70, 71% expenditures, so we're coming in under overall budget. And revenue's coming in probably a little bit better at 75 or 80%.
How are we on the audit, the few things that the auditor found out, where are we at on correcting those things?
Those all have been corrected. We're trying to get the 17-year corrected, get the bank recs up to date on those.
Okay, as we're looking forward to a new budget, there've been rumors all over the place about that we're going to do away with the occupational tax, to giving everybody a raise, to I don't know what else.
I know, those are things y'all are going to have to decide, so I know in what direction you all want to go.
Yeah, I do, you know, one thing that we've done, I think since I've been on this fiscal court, we gave a 2% raise to the employees.
Last year, yes.
I'd like for us to look at doing something like that. And then I'd like for us to look and see what possibilities we could do with this property tax and maybe cutting that 1% or something. What exactly that would do for us. So we're going to have to look at some numbers, you know, looking at the numbers to see what they are.
Once it settles down, that number could by itself just go down. That was maybe just a one-year fluke. But we don't know what they're doing at the state level as far as our assessments and stuff at this point.
And we'll never know
until
they do it.
They could do the same thing to us
again.
I know. Without any notice, and that sort of makes it pretty tough to make a budget and then them come behind you and cut $400 million worth of assessments out.
Yeah.
That's not playing the game fairly. Yeah. So,
you know, you all don't want me to go to the level that we've received this year, if you want me to reduce it, I need to know these numbers so I can start calculating something.
Yeah,
because everything's up in the air, and I've got to find out too now how, since the pension bill was vetoed, was the phase-in bill vetoed back to where the phase-in amount of the retirement contribution is going into effect, or are we still locked in at the 28.05%, which is a $700,000 potential increase over last year's budget?
When they sustained the veto, it went back to where the bill was passed.
But the phase-in bill and the bill are two different things.
I know, it's complicated. We just have to look at that.
Right.
Plus, I think you ought to make an estimate if we were to do away with the occupational tax, what services would have to be cut?
Yeah.
What jobs have to be cut?
Yeah.
What things would, what
Off the top of my head, if we have $1.5 million and occupational net profits bringing in 3.5, so that means there's going to have to be $2 million in cuts. Anywhere from $1.5 million to $2 million in cuts. Can the jail afford to cut back any to where we don't have to subsidize it as much? Solid waste is not doing bad. They're only about maybe $200,000 that we're having to contribute to them. They're pretty much trying to get to where they're sustaining themselves, but we've had so much decline in businesses with the landfill and everything, so and we've not bothered the solid waste bill except to say we weren't going to allow them to have a month free, which I think you have to exhaust everything you're doing to start with before you start raising. And that was one of the reasons that I suggested just doing away with the 1 month free, get everybody to pay and not have to worry about an increase. Could take more money from your road department, and there's not money there to do. Could affect what we contribute to the sheriff. It can affect the money we contribute to the senior citizens. I still don't have the number potentially for what Anthem's going to increase to either yet. We did get notification yesterday that the workers' comp and liability insurance went down by $190,000 at $1,440,000 something, but basically what was decreased was based on the salaries. So if salaries go up, that could go up, so. Because 190 decrease is basically the check we got as a refund of 189,000. It's going to impact a lot of things. Maybe an extra person taken from road departments. There may be more people took off of solid waste.
Well, we'll just have to look at it.
It would be a mix-up of everything. Do you want employees to start contributing to the health insurance to try and come up with $1.5 million to $2 million worth of revenue?
Well, we'll discuss it and look at it.
Those are the big chunks of money that I can think of off the top of my head.
And the thing about it, we're running out of time to discuss it. We need to, we either need to have another, and I'm sorry that Ken's not here, and I want him to be a part of all this. So there's no way we'd make any kind of decision today on anything, because I want him there.
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
That's fine with me.
Next Tuesday, good.
Next Tuesday,
Yeah.
24th.
All right. We'll move on. Awarding of bids. Frankie?
Judge, I have one bid to present to the court. It's bid number 15 for 2018. We got an illegal dump cleanup grant, and this is the first 5 of 8 dumps that we're going to clean up. They're in various locations countywide, but the first dump was on Hatfield Branch, and we got 6 bidders. B&J Transfer, no bid. Larry Young, $6,500. Pikeville Paving, $10,180. Raider Construction, $14,500. Ratliff Septic Service, $66,746.18. And Twisted Rail Incorporated, no bid.
Why, how can they be such a discrepancy of, the low bid 6,500 and the high bid 66,000? That's 60.
We had 6 contractors bid.
They were all looking at the same thing, weren't they?
Looking at the same thing.
Who's the 6,500?
Ratliff Septic Service.
No.
The lowest bidder on dump 1 would be Larry Young for $6,500, and that would be my recommendation. Site 2 is Sheep Fork. B&J Transfer submitted a no bid. Larry Young bid $5,000. Pikeville Paving bid $13,710. Crater Construction $18,770. Ratliff Septic Service $84,538. And Twisted Rail Incorporated submitted a no bid. And the lowest bidder for site number 2, Sheep Fork, would be Larry Young with a bid of $5,000, and that'd be my recommendation on that dump. Site number 3 is Red Dog Hollow. B&J Transfer, $25,343.61. Larry Young, $3,900. Pikeville Paving, $13,850. Prater Construction, $18,650. Ratliff Septic Service, $82,810. And Twisted Rail Incorporated submitted a no bid. The lowest bidder on site number 3, Red Dog Hollow, is Larry Young with $3,900, and that'd be my recommendation on site 3. Site number 4 is Low Gap Branch, site 1. B&J Transfer, $12,282.68. Larry Young, $1,800. Pikeville Paving, $10,770. Prater Construction, $12,420. Ratliff Septic Service, $62,479. And Twisted Rail Incorporated, $5,480. And the lowest bid on Site 4, Low Gap Branch, Site 1, would be Larry Young with a bid of $1,800, and that'd be my recommendation. And finally, on Site 5, which is Low Gap Branch, Site number 2, B&J Transfer, $9,480.26. Larry Young, $5,000 even. Pikeville Paving, $6,400 even. Prater Construction, $11,400. Ratliff Septic Service, $63,940. And Twisted Rail Incorporated bid $189. And after talking with him after the bid opening, he
There it is.
Told me that he wrote down the wrong number on that bid. And he verbally withdrew his bid. So that being said, the lowest bidder would be Larry Young on Low Gap Branch Site 2 with a bid of $5,000. So it's my recommendation to award all 5 dumps to the lowest bidder, which would be Larry Young, and the total for all 5 dumps would be $22,200 even.
And again, Frankie, $22,200 for all 5 of them, and the highest bid on it was 300-some thousand. I don't understand that.
You'd have to know Larry Young.
Can that guy do that for this?
If he doesn't do it, he doesn't get paid. The state has to sign off on the dump claim.
If it's the same, is it the same Larry Young that'd be up
Need a motion on that?
bathhouse for us over at Hatfield?
Does he have?
He told me one time, he said, a poor man's got poor ways. So he's a hard worker.
Has he got any equipment?
A lot of this is just, it's not gonna take a lot of equipment, it's just gonna be a lot of manual
Pickup.
gathered litter and stuff like that, so I don't think it's a lot of equipment that's gonna be needed. But Bobby believes that he can handle all 5 of them. I mean, I don't think they're, looking at the pictures, I don't think, these 5 here aren't really big, the next 3 dumps are a lot larger.
Okay. I'll make a motion, we hire him.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Compton.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy.
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney.
We're going to have to watch this, guys, because I just don't see this. I really don't. I vote yes.
Judge Deskins.
What do you say?
You vote yes.
Yes. All right, Magistrate's Road Work.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Compton.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy.
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney.
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Yes. All right, Magistrate's comment.
I don't have anything, Judge.
None.
I have none, Judge.
Leo?
Yes, FEMA's agreed to come in and look at those projects, have they? Yes, they have. Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah, it's on the internet where they approved Eastern Kentucky for the FEMA stuff, but they haven't contacted our area, but it's in the internet, it's been approved, and the federal government officially put it out there.
Good.
So hopefully help's on the way.
All right, Hillman?
Judge, I wanted to see if Herbie could check and find out where we stand on that road extension on 194 over there, around the cookie factory.
194?
Yeah, they had supposed to be widening through the state, and
I don't know any.
I heard that they might have took the funding out for that project.
Oh, those roads?
We've had 3 fatalities over in the last month on that road.
Nobody really knows all the line items, I think, Hillman, as to what they done the last.
The last we seen of it, Hillman, it was still on there, but it wasn't funded. That was the thing.
You can put roads.
You heard anything about
and
Sandy?
then not fund them, and they can stay there for 10 years sometimes. But I don't know. I
know it's a bad, dangerous road, and the cookie factory was in jeopardy, maybe moving out if we don't get something done there. And it was supposed to, they've already bought the property off the people, in my knowledge, and
If I'm not mistaken, they were mentioning that down at the meeting that we went to, and they were lamenting that was one of the projects that have been.
money been removed.
Right, and the Elkhorn extension up there, 460, has suffered a real bad cuts in the final budget in the 6
So Harvey, if you could, you might relay it on it. We've had 3 fatalities there on that 194 in the last month.
Same place there.
Well, that one girl was killed there around the cookie factory, and then last week there were 2 in the creek over at Camper got killed.
I think it's the most dangerous road in eastern Kentucky. That's what Sarah George told me one time, 194.
But I think it needs some attention, you know, let them know that we still,
I will,
need
I'll
something
check,
done.
I'll check with the highway department.
Thank you. And, our men have been out patching the holes and trying to do some, cleanup work for Jimmy Dale on the, Pride. I think they've been working pretty hard on that. And, I just wanted to say that, I don't know if anybody's gonna comment it or not, that we got a letter from Diane, thanking the people. I thought Charlie might wanna comment on that. The court's got a guy that really knows how to negotiate and buy vehicles. With all his experience and time, he saved the county a lot of money last week. And Paul and your men that went down and helped retrieve all the vehicles, and I think they got them all back without having any problems. And I think the county will see some savings in their purchase. And the sheriff, I think, is satisfied with what he got. But I'll let, if Charlie wants to, discuss that a little bit later. He's more up on it than I am. But I just wanted to say that I'm pleased with what we were able to do and save the county money.
Diane seemed to be very pleased too with those vehicles, so that's all I've got to say. We done our job. That's what we're supposed to have done, so.
You want to read that letter she wrote?
Oh, do I need to? You want me to
Do you
read
want
this?
to read the letter?
Go ahead, Charlie.
Well, it's the reasons for these home-delivered meals. On behalf of the Senior Citizens Program, we would like to thank you for the purchase of 9 Ford Escapes for our home-delivered meal program. Our service reports dated March the 30th show we have delivered 42,319 meals to the shut-ins in Pike County. With this number, you can see that these vehicles are a necessity to our program. Once again, thank you on behalf of the program, signed Supervisor Diane Thacker. So I thought she'd be happy.
Charlie, Diane's not here today, and I just wondered if we need to make some kind of motion. I know you had one of them went through the cleanup shop. It turned out really good, and I don't know if she's told you that she'd like to have the rest of them cleaned up, or.
I've not talked to her. So, but we can get it done. There's not a problem with that. They took the stickers off and made them look new. They weren't new, but they look new.
Johnny, do we need to make a motion to prove it to the court if they go that route to have them? I know the garage has serviced them now and getting them ready for the road, but they still have the state stickers on the doors. And I just wondered if we need to make a motion to have them, the stickers took off and have them cleaned up and buffed out to where they will be road ready.
That's fine. And
I know you were taking the money out of her funds, and I'm sure she probably would have wanted that done. I don't know. I didn't talk to her.
They cost $100 for each one, and
that's
one of
not
them's
that
already
bad.
done.
That's not
One
bad.
of them's already done, so.
That's not a bad price to have them
58
cleaned
more.
up.
Did
Charlie
you see
just
that
needs
when
to
it
know.
come back, Hillman? You seen the Escape that came back?
Yeah.
It looked like a new one. It's a 14 model with 100,000 miles, but it still looked new.
Yeah.
Hillman, I talked to her yesterday there, and she acted like she was interested in going ahead and doing that. I said, she needs to go ahead and do it before they get them on the road there. She acted like it's a pretty good idea.
On also talking about the last court meeting, doing the striping and putting the stuff on for the sheriff, we've had a request from the coroner about the vehicle he got last fall, wasn't it, Frankie, that he needs to have his lights and striping done on that. I wonder if we could add that to it to get a better deal with the striping of the sheriff's vehicles.
This details has nothing, the striping is another company over there. I don't know.
Can you look into them adding the sheriff's, adding the
Rodney,
coroners?
well, Rodney's the one that did the negotiation on the stripes.
I'll ask Rodney to see what it would cost to throw in the coroner's
I wouldn't think it would be
vehicle.
any more than the sheriff's car, so.
Because he went to a accident and they wouldn't let him through because he didn't have any visible signage that he was a coroner on the new vehicle. So he needs lights and stripes and stuff. I'll ask Rodney.
All right.
Jimmy Dale, do we still have that cleanup going on this month? I noticed over on the Virginia, Kentucky line, somebody started a pretty bad illegal dump where we always have that problem. And it goes down over the hill. It will probably be something we might have to put down in the contract. But I was noticing last week, it looks pretty bad.
Wrapping was, Kay, I don't know what her married, she was a Thompson, Randy Thompson from Knott County's sister. Kay, I don't know what.
If you get a chance, you might want to
they do a lot of
look at it. Thank you.
Drag stuff.
That's all I have.
For her husband.
All right, Bobby.
Judge, just a couple of comments. We've
Kay was on the
senior
strike.
citizens there at Belfry.
That's who it
Great
was.
job that Susie Stanley does there, and her husband, had the heart transplant and the kidney transplant, and his blood pressure started dropping on him, and she's in election with him right now. I think they took him out of ICU yesterday, but just remember her and him in your prayers. But again, I can't say enough about those senior citizens over there and the job that they do. Jimmy Dale and his crew coming out and picking up that litter and stuff, and kudos to you, Jimmy Dale, and just keep it up, buddy. We'll do anything we can to help you. That's all I have, Judge. Thank you.
All right. All right, public comment. Willard Sloan?
Yes, I'm coming back today. I was here about a month ago, seeing if I can get the court to correct the problem they done in the previous administration of Karen Gibson. And I just want to see if there's been any input, anybody, have any comments, or see if they're going to fix it.
Willard and I had a discussion with you on the telephone a few weeks ago, and I want to let you know I did follow up on it, and me and Leo talked about it, and he was gonna have Jackie and Herbie go over and look at that situation. So that's the reason I didn't have your number to call you back, but that's where we stand on that. I'm minding your conversation.
Well, I've got pictures on my phone of it right now. I could show and stuff, and but this is dragging on for a long time. Like I said, I first talked to Bill about it 3 years ago, and he told Jackie to fix it. So I don't know how much longer it's going to take to correct something the county created. And I just can't see how y'all are masters right now, and you got control over the road commissioner. Why does he have the final say-so? He works for you all, don't he?
Well, usually the way our district operates, if we get a call or complaint, then we write a work order upon it and refer it on to the road commissioner to look at it and see what it takes to get it approved. If it's something he thinks needs to be fixed, then he goes ahead and signs off on it and gets it fixed. That's what the way you operate with everybody else, Jackie?
Yes, and what I've always was told earlier when John Doug Hayes and I discussed this job when I first got here, the public's money or the taxpayers' money is important. And I was told to work on the county road system. It's our deal. And as I've traveled around this county, I've seen thousands of places looks like his. And when the water gets up in a water stream, it will cut the soil on both sides of the road, sometimes on the road side of the county road and sometimes on the private property. When water gets big, it will take away. And there's a lot of places in this county, not all, but people fill out and crowd the creek system. And the water will take its way. And I've looked at one at Abe's Branch and there's a poor lady there, and I felt sorry for her, but her bank had fell off where the water raised and came through there. And in order to put a drain in, you've got to, you know, direct water a certain way. You can't cut it straight in the road. And so anyway, I told her, you know, that's her problem, and I wished I could help her, but it was, you know, her private property, and it wasn't a place the taxpayers take care of your private stuff. Now, some of that been on in the past, but I've tried to run a game where I do things that's legal and right and try to spend the taxpayers' monies wisely, because it's tough enough to maintain what we've got in this county, much less spend other money in other private ways. And as I said in the past, they built a bridge up Smith Fork on the road there, and they had to straighten the bridge out where it's safe for people to travel. The water shot towards our bottom. In order to maintain our land, we built a concrete wall ourselves. So that's my position.
You said you want to save the county tax money. Why'd you have county equipment on your property for 2 days, you know? So, you know.
I love that question. You know, I'll fight a battle any day when I've got right on my side. And the road foreman, JB, asked me that morning when I stopped and to give him tell him my phone was lost and I'd had to get another one. And he bagged me for that rock down there, and I was reluctant to do it. And JB had come here and say that. And after talking to him a while, I took clean rock down there, and I had it piled up to sell, and I've sold about 300 loads. And I like to make money, but I'm not a super greedy person. I don't care to share a little bit of money with these taxpayers and my public in this county. And so I give him my rock after he called Hillman, and the court itself approved what was happening that day and approved going back and getting that pile of rocks. It was clean rocks. Now, we can go on the strip jobs and get it, and we've done that. And it's dangerous going up there and often somewhat gray on training to go up on those jobs. And rocks don't float in the air. They're on somebody's private property. Or if we go and get it, you know, it is on someone's property. And most time it's a construction site. You find this, as I've done over here, District 1, and some other districts. I sent crews over there to get this free rock off Steve Lockhart. And it may have been a benefit to Steve. He said not so much, took more time to load the county vehicles. But even if it was a benefit to him, it helped the taxpayers because we needed it. Now, we got another choice, and I went up Millard High School, and we've got rock over at a site over at Belfry, was a gas station made, and got free rock. And free is good. And like I say, rock don't float in the air. It's on somebody's property. Or you can go to Jenkins and get rock. Now, somebody with a mind that don't know business and cost, maybe they can't see that. But going to Jenkins and getting it costs you money with manpower and gas, and taking a chance of traveling further, maybe have an accident. Or they can haul it to you, and that costs a greater expense. What I did saved the taxpayers of this county money. And if that's wrong, then I'll take that battle any day. And the court approved that action the next day, and they approved going to get it back. And it's been a little thing Monk Sanders has used, and I think Keith Hall even shared that, even though he wasn't aware that, I guess, I don't know if he's aware or not, that the court approved getting that particular rock. And that saved the people money. And if saving them money is a bad thing, I just can't understand people's mind.
Well, it saved you money getting rid of it, didn't it?
No, because I sell it, young man.
Yeah.
I sell rock. And
well, another example that you said that you want to save county money.
I've got my own equipment, and I really don't need nobody's help. And I've got money. I'm not a broke man.
Well,
so if I help people,
I'm glad you do have money.
Want this county to save money? Would you rather they went on? And I even proposed to the foreman, so you don't have an understanding totally of the subject. I told the foreman that day, and he can come here and tell the court that. Go up on the strip job and get it. He said, Jackie, they're closed today. They broke down, can't get it, and we need this rock for a coal haul road. We got a bridge there. It was breaking in on the side, real dangerous to the public. And we had some roads that need fixed up on Meat House. And he took that rock and saved the taxpayers money, and he requested it. I didn't ask him to get it. He asked me. And Hillman said, yeah, go and get it if you give it to us. And so, like I say, you can't find rock floating in the air. It's on somebody's property. And just because I'm a road commissioner, I can't help the taxpayers of this county out, that's a little ridiculous argument.
Okay, what about the day meeting you was talking about it? Then you said, I've got to go to get an appointment to get my passport done. Did you do that on county time?
What was that again?
That you had an appointment to go get you a passport. See, me and you talked up there in the hall one day.
Get a passport, boy, that's something.
Well, I mean, if you want to save county taxpayers money, did you do it on your time or the county time?
Well, the truth of the matter, I'm on a 24-hour clock. They call me on Saturdays, Sundays. When I'm out trying to do something for my personal self and life, on Saturdays I got to go out and take care of things. I take phone calls. The state police calls me on Sundays, Saturdays at night, and I'm a 24-hour clock man. And I got to have some time to even go to the bathroom, sir.
Well, I didn't say you didn't, but I mean, you made it a big deal. Jeff, you come over and look at that property. What do you think about it?
I really would have thought it had been fixed by now, to be honest with you. If we caused the problem, we ought to fix it.
I mean, that's all I'm asking, just to get it fixed, stuff. I don't want to argue with nobody, but I mean, it just seems like this is going on and on and on. I know, like I said, I've talked to Bill over 3 years ago, and he told Jackie to fix it then. And so Leo says he can't do it because Jackie Darrell won't do it.
I think it's your responsibility, not the taxpayers' problem, to take care of your property. That's the way I feel. Now, if the court wants me to orders me to do an illegal act, that's all right.
It's not illegal if you, I mean, the
I
the
see
court.
it's illegal.
Well, between you seeing and me seeing is two different things. I mean, like Jeff said, it should be done fixed. Leo's been over there, the Pike. And like I invited him
Went over
over.
another district and looking at it, I've got so many calls from his area, it tells me if he won't answer their phone calls or come out and help them. That shocks me that he's over in your area, but
Well, my name,
political burn, I guess.
my name is.
Who's called you, Jackie? Who's called you, who's called that I haven't answered their phone calls?
Yeah, I've had people call me and said they can't get a hold of you.
I mean, who are they?
Your
So I
own
can-
district.
Who are they, and I'll call them back?
Many times, honey, it's pathetic.
Is it?
You know, I mean, that's the truth of reality. And I'm
Who is it?
I've tried to call you and you won't answer the phone sometimes. I had to go through Keith Hall to get a hold of you on the road up Ford Mountain because you wouldn't answer the phone for me. I got Keith to call, then you talked to him.
No, that's just not true.
That's a fact, Jack.
Okay. My name's not Jack.
Well, you know, my name been mentioned a few times here.
Right.
And I didn't think it was my business to go over into another magistrate's district. And you know, I told you that on the phone. If Leo would ask me to go with him, I would go. But I'm not gonna go into his district and check out a problem when it's not my area to make that call. And
You know, a lot of things have been done in the past, and these people thinks that's the way it's supposed to be. But if it's your property, and that drain's put in pretty good by who put it in, and the only thing it has is where the creek's formatted out, it's got a good drop. And so I guess it was Ronnie put that in there. He put some big rocks down here to catch the water. So it didn't eat out, and because the bank on the road had eat out previously, and we put gravels in there, or someone did, is prior to me, and they put gravels in there and put concrete on it to protect the road from falling in, and they laid some rocks over on his side. And I've run across this numerous of times where people wants me to work on their side of the thing, and in order, you know, water will cut dirt and it will fall out on both sides, but it's not the taxpayer's responsibility. The person that owns property needs to take care of their property, and let's, you know, like I say, we done it ourselves. I'm not saying nothing to somebody else that I didn't do myself. Our family built a concrete wall to protect their land, so the bridge was straight and water has to be cocked a little bit. It's impossible to put the water running the road and travel it, so you gotta have a flow.
I mean, all I'm asking is you get a piece of equipment, reach over and put some big rocks over there to kind of divert the water away from it. I mean, it's no big deal. That's like over on Johnnikins, you just put big rocks in a ditch halfway down the hill, just cover for two people's houses up there. Why would you put rock in a ditch up there?
I'd say there's 30, 40 people that's asked me to do that, get on their side and do it, and that rock. And most people are reasonable and say, when I explain it to them, they understand it can't be done, it's not right. And people's got a little money, you got to hire contractors to do some work for you sometime and spend some, because they need to feed their families too.
Well, why should I have to correct something that the county destroyed in the past?
You know, this, I don't see the county destroying it. As I look at that, you live up there in the house, and there's another house, and at the corner of that property, it goes and it drops down. And I can't see where somebody's using that besides.
Well, it don't matter whether it's used or not, it's my property.
And you said 15 foot of.
I can show you a picture of it right now.
How much feet did you say fell off there?
I'd say it's close to 30, 40 feet, maybe.
Well, is it indisputable that the county caused the problem?
I don't, the county caused the problem.
The county caused the problem. I make a motion, we fix it.
I thank you.
I don't think the county caused the problem. I think it's nature.
Okay, well, I make a motion, we fix it. Herbie's right behind you.
Why would you want, I mean, you want to create a problem for many areas that's got this, and even worse than his. And you're going to create more expense, and we're already burdened with money to fix the roads now, and you want to take care of his private thing, Jeff?
No.
You know, you're just playing the political games all year.
No, Jackie, if we caused it, if we've caused problems, if we fix things all over the county, if we cause a problem.
Caused that problem. Mother Nature did, act of God's what I call it, and it's his property. Earthworms may like that place, but I doubt anybody would walk there can use it, because right at the corner down through there, and I think he said 15 foot out, and if that go to the road, it's impossible. I looked at it 3 years ago, and it's about the same situation a couple months ago that it was then.
There's nothing political. I just made a motion that we fix it, and if we don't, and it's up to Leo. If he doesn't want to fix it, that's fine.
Willard, 10 minutes is what we're going to done, and we've been about 20.
Well, I know, but are they still talking about it? I mean, let's get it said, and we won't have to come back, Judge. I mean, I'll sit down, and you can discuss it, whatever, but.
Well, we'll have to work it out, whatever.
I mean, why can't you work it out now? There's a motion on the floor.
Well, we may have to get the attorneys to tell us what we can do and can't do.
I mean, like I said, I can show Herbie the pictures of it right now on the phone.
He doesn't look at it. He needs to comment on it.
Herbie.
All right.
Herbie, you want to go out this meeting and look at it, Herbie?
From my understanding, Summit Engineering is on retainer to the county, correct? Well, but why can't we have Summit Engineering go over and look at it to see if they can figure out who caused it? If the county did cause it, then we should fix it. If Summit Engineering says we didn't, then we've got something backing our position. If they're already doing work, why not have them do that?
Jurisdiction, but if that's the way we'll work it out, I think we.
Hey, Herbie, turn your mic on, Herbie.
Well, I think if it's in Summit's jurisdiction, I think we ought to send them over there. If not, I think.
Did you go look at it, Herbie?
Yeah, no, I haven't. I told Jackie now that I would.
I know I told Willard.
I'm going to look at that, Herbie, and let you see your opinion. But there's hundreds of cases. It's much worse than this in the county. And if we start working on one person, I believe in treating everybody equally, friend, Democrat, Republican, or enemy. But if we start doing that, we're going to have to create a lot more work out there for us to do.
Well, Jackie, if the county,
private work too.
If the county has torn up
that property, they need to fix it. What I'm
exactly right. I agree.
You may go to God and ask him, because now as a created job by the rain, water's going to take its path when it travels. When people squeeze these creeks in to create more land, the water will make its way.
I'm not trying to create more land. I'm trying to get it stopped taking. If you put some in big rocks, like you said, don't come out of the air, that it will take care of it. Half a day's work.
Hey, Leo, pull your mic down there. And that's in your district. Talk about it there.
Yeah, I'm all for anything that we cause, fixing it, but we need to get legal counsel on it to see if he did do it, and then we'll go ahead and fix it if he says so.
Well, I mean, I agree with that. If you come, are you going to come today and look at it?
Not today. We've got a full week this week with Hillbilly Days.
Okay, I understand that.
I'll get with Jackie Darrell, and he'll pick me up Monday or Tuesday, and we'll come out and look at it.
Monday, and then we have it.
We're going to look at Saturday, Sunday, whenever you want to look at it.
Okay, well, we got the weekend, but Saturday's a big day. Or Sunday, I'll be available Sunday probably, Jackie Darrell, after church.
Well, what about Jeff's motion? I mean, is it just?
I don't think it's going to get a second.
No, it's dead for right now till next Tuesday.
Okay.
Check it out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I get you?
All righty, then I'll wait to come back then.
Thank you, Willard.
Thank you, Willard. All right, Mike May. Ten minutes.
Well, Judge, can you hear me?
A little bit.
I was wondering if it's going to get the same group that was here last meeting when we had a young lady here speaking and everybody was so helpful, so patient. Hey, there's even over a minute of just free airtime here.
Well,
let me get, I've got quite a bit to cover, Judge. I hope you'll be patient with me today. I think we ought to be treated equal. I really do. And it is whenever someone, when they're treated fairly and equal, and I think I'm getting a favor for you to do it to me.
well, if you don't hush, I'm gonna get your butt out of here.
Well, that's your call.
Well, you talk too loud. I try to help people. That's what I'm here for. And sometimes it has to go a little longer. But anyway, if we can't get it worked out, now go ahead.
Judge Deskins,
Yep.
your slogan.
What?
Your slogan on your side. Well, you said I was talking too loud. You know, the slogan you had on your campaign signs last election, and I took them to heart. Hard work and good judgment. But let me go on, Judge, if you would. May I?
Well, if you better hurry.
Okay. Well, folks, I want all of you to see here that people don't get treated equally. But I had, like with Jackie Darrell, same old song and dance whenever somebody wants something, kick it down the road, ditches and what have you. So let me get to, maybe I can make a point or two. I went to the road lot at District 6 this past Friday. The road foreman, Danny Branham, then I just so happened the door was open. In the past, they have a door that they say the lock is messed up and it just locks, but this was a pretty day, the door was open. And the man ignored me, ended up running out of the building, and Madras Barney had been a witness to a few months ago. He barricaded himself up in there and wouldn't come out and talk to me. Now, with that being said, I have some pictures here. Y'all should have them. And ditching, the lack of ditching, and if you look at the roads, they're deteriorating, and you want to talk about saving taxpayer money, we need to do some maintenance on these roads. But there's one picture there that I believe it was the 28th day of December. There's ice on the road. Now, I've got pictures documented. It's got the date on them going back 2 years. Now, have we quit ditching our roads? It appears we have. Jackie Darrell, the other ditching that had been a few years and at least 6 months here since a thing. You got anything on that? I'll go on.
Where are you specifying it, young man?
Runyon's Branch.
Yeah, it's, you know, we dug that ditch once, and I'm agreeable with you on that. That used to be a ditch. Appeared to be after we cleaned it out some, the drain went back about 3 feet, so we had about 2 or 3 foot of shoulder. And Tommy Sr. had filled that in after he talked to county and putting a drain in there above there, said there was a water problem near his driveway way beyond the other ditch down through there. So I agree with you. So I went up there and dug that ditch with your sister-in-law giving me a rough time all day, but I had 2 cops up there. She said she's going to lay down in front of the equipment, let's drag it. So it wasn't a good day dealing with that situation. We did drag a ditch there, and they wanted me to leave the dirt there. Again, I leave dirt there for somebody close by to use instead of hauling a distance, saves some money again. But I was reluctant to, and but because I thought they may put it back in the ditch, and I asked them, and I told them I couldn't leave that dirt there because they'd put it back in the ditch, and Tommy Sr. Promised me wholeheartedly that he wouldn't do that, and he did, and that's not done good for our friendship. Me and him was a good friend there at one time, but it needs to be done, but there needs to be more ditches in the county, not less, and I'm totally agreeable with that. And I've been jumped on this court a couple of years ago by the county attorney and Jeff Anderson again on Hidden Valley, where I dug a ditch up there, and they're saying I dug in these people's yard, but really we own from the road over 17 foot. So the ditch was put on county property, and there's 3 rows of houses up through there, and the lowest elevation crew was getting a lot of water. So I solved that problem. They come in here 3 or 4 times on me on that deal, but the ditch stayed, and the county's not in the the landscaping business, and people wants to fix it, make it pretty, that's all right, but we need the water to flow. And I totally agree with you, we need more ditches instead of less, but it's a problem that the people wants to create a little land and they want to fill the ditches in, or put something against the road. It's an aggravating situation, but I never know to be a hard, being honest man.
Well, the drain pipe that you dug out there, talking about going back 3 foot, it's been stopped up with dirt and mud that it hasn't even been flowing. Bobby, do you think maybe you could relay to the road? I don't know, who you talk to get anything done, but Danny Branham, I have been critical of him. And, out and about, when he's off duty, hey, you don't like me, you don't want to speak to me, I have no problem with that. But to run away from a citizen of District 6 that wants to talk about a road or whatever, I think that's bad. And Judge, maybe you could come to the front here and take control of some of these employees of yours and put them on the right track. And, what we had from Jeff, maybe you could come over and look at some of this stuff. The county attorney give the lady her number. He sort of throwed out a quip at Jackie Darrell, telling her he wasn't dealing with a scholar there last week. But, I would, Bobby, do you think you maybe could relay to something to get some of this done? I mean, you could see by the pictures the road is deteriorating.
We've been pulling ditches, Mike, for the last 3 weeks in our district. You showed me a picture. Where's that at?
That is Upper Coburn Holler.
Coburn Holler.
Yes, and I mean, like I said, I believe, and I don't know if y'all keep records or not, I believe it's been over 2 years since you've been up in there, and it is a constant, and you can tell where the blacktop, I mean, in saving taxpayers' money, I'm telling you, it ain't rocket science that you keep the water off of it, and it's going to cost you less money. Years ago, some of you older folks might remember an auto commercial mechanic, hey, pay me now or pay me later. You can spend a little on maintenance, or you can replace an engine. And again, that's what needs to be done. We need to take care of these roads, and really now, more than any, with a budget crunch. And I'm glad to hear y'all talking about trying to do something about making a little better on the tax deal with people. Hey, lower taxes, a chicken in every pot. Hey, but you need to get a hold of things, and I keep saying that. Here we are, what have we got, 8 months of this? But wouldn't y'all like to leave here with a little bit of pride of saying, hey, we come to the front and we're going to get things done. We're going to lead this county, and the employees that don't want to get with the program, by gosh, send them to the house. And Judge, I hope you don't just want to set me down all the time, but I do appreciate getting able to talk to you, and I wish y'all would open them ears up and listen to me a little bit instead of just, sometimes, I'll say this, sometimes I do get the feeling when I come here and talk that most of you are sitting like just running in your head, so you don't hear what I say.
Time's up, and we need to work this out privately with the people that doing it.
You know, that's a good idea, Judge, and we've tried that before.
We fixed it here at the fiscal court. Now, you get out in the field there and you all do it.
I will agree with that, Judge, absolutely, and that's what needs to be done, one or all of you. Let's come out in the county, and I'll show you some things.
Is that the same?
One thing,
That's the same ditch line you pulled 2 years ago.
One thing here on that ditch he's uptight about, and I went up there and dug it, but I asked Keith Hall in his court to get us, I don't think it's fair for the taxpayers to have to come back and clean that ditch out again after Tommy May Sr. filled that in. I think we should send him a letter, and I was told they was going to get a construction guy to clean it out themselves since we clean it out. It ain't right for us to spend the people's money twice when he did fill it in. And I asked the court to send him a letter or tell him if he didn't get that done, we'd come and give him a bill on it. But he he told me that he would, through his son, get that done by a construction guy and hire him. And then his wife calls and talks to Danny and says he's up there digging up his hands and he's in bad health and we'll jack it all back off of that. And I said, no, we need that ditch dug. But it's been on too long. I agree with you on that. The court needs to hold those people responsible fills their ditches in and quit playing politics.
We've got a lot of different things to do.
Yeah.
And we've spent enough time with this over the last 3 years and whatever. Now, go to court, get it settled.
Okay, if I may say, Jackie Darrell, I agree with you, the taxpayers shouldn't be at their expense. The letter was talked months ago, and all you have to do, it's in the statute, they've been notified, you do it, bill them, if they don't pay it, put it on their property tax. Thank you, Judge.
All right. Treasurer's business, I've lost her.
She said she would, I think, do it later.
Huh?
She would do it later.
We'll do it after the executive session. All right, give us the KRS, Bobby.
Yes, sir, Judge. At this time, I'd like to make a motion that we go into executive session in accordance with KRS 61.810, paragraph C, discuss proposed or pending litigation, and paragraph F to discuss specific personnel. Second.
All right, I need a motion.
Got a motion and a second, Judge.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson. Magistrate Compton.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy.
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney.
Yes.
Judge Fiscal.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll be in executive session. The court meeting will resume. Justin?
Gentlemen, the following items are up for approval. It is approval to accept Stephen Sloan's resignation effective 4/7/18. Approval to hire Janice Paul Chapman temporarily as a loader at Solid Waste Area 3 at a 2H rate of pay. Approval to hire James Sloan as a mini packer driver at Solid Waste Area 1 at a 3H rate of pay plus longevity. Approval to hire Jacob Dotson as a loader at Solid Waste Area 1 at a 2H rate of pay. Approval to accept Tracy Yates' resignation effective 4/19/18. Approval to hire Richard Gibson as a temporary packer driver at Solid Waste Area 5 at a 3H rate of pay effective 4/11/18.
These are my recommendations and my motion. I need a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson. Magistrate Compton.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy.
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney.
Yes.
Judge Fiscal.
Yes. All right, the treasurer's business, Jonda.
Hey, Judge.
Yeah.
Before we do that, the seasonals at Fish Trap Lake, the seasonals at Fish Trap Lake and Hardy Park there. We usually bring
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
The seasonals, the caretakers I got up Fish Trap Lake.
Yeah.
And one at Hardy Park. I need to get it okayed to get them back on payroll.
Was it in January when we let off the one in Fish Trap?
No, it was in October. We usually lay them off in October and bring them back in April.
Okay, as long as
Or we
Hardy Park, didn't we keep it open a little bit longer till December?
April to the end of October.
Grants Branch. I'm just making sure we have
These are just two for the Hardy Park and the Fish Trap Dam up there. You know.
I was just making sure, Frankie, that we have the correct break with
Is this something we
Retirement
gotta get
Center
approved, though?
on Hardy Park and Fish Trap.
We do on Grants Branch, and the one that we had at Grants Branch, we hired him part-time.
Okay.
Because we kept him longer. Then the other ones at Hardy, yeah, they were like,
Okay.
We kept one at Grants Branch, and that's right.
Yeah, he went longer as a seasonal, so.
We had to change him.
Fix that whole mess.
Just Hardy was part-time.
I'm just making sure we have our breaks the way we need to have them and stuff.
That one started back yesterday.
Oh, not them two people. All right. We need to make a motion then that we hire seasonal workers back, right?
Yep.
I'll make that motion at this time.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Effective when?
So.
I would say both of them back, because Glenn's been working for the last few weeks.
Oh, yeah, I think he's been working since the 1st of March.
Yeah, he's been working, and the one that fit,
Well, if he's been working since March, Glenn.
he does that every year anyway. He'll go ahead and open, things up and watch
April
over, because he lives right there,
April 1?
April 1 sounds good.
Okay. As of April 1 to hire the seasonal staff.
No.
Magistrate Compton?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Diskins?
Yes. John, you're next.
Authorize any necessary transfers and interfund transfers to pay the bills, payroll, health, and life insurance.
Motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Compton?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Diskins?
Yes.
Authorize the payment of the expenditure approval list dated April 16th, 2018, and any other utility and telephone bills received before the checks are run.
Second.
We're not going to run the accounts payable till Monday or Tuesday of next week, see what the coal and mineral severance tax money comes in as.
All right, roll call, please.
Magistrate Compton?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Diskins?
Yes.
Acknowledge receipt of the sheriff's 2550 report for March 2018. Did you all see one from the clerk?
I did not see one.
Okay. We'll just do the sheriff's at this time. I've not received the clerk's.
Motion to acknowledge. Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Compton?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Diskins?
Yes.
And need to authorize the renewal of the Anthem Life Insurance Company with no changes for the fiscal year 2018-19 of $9 per person on the group life and accidental death and dismemberment, 28 cents per thousand and 2 cents per thousand for 30,000 equivalent.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Compton?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
And there's no changes in that cost.
$9 per person.
Right. Yes.
Judge Diskins?
Yes.
Authorize a check in the amount of $70,650 to Elliott Contracting Incorporated for payment on the third floor renovation project. Authorize, let's just do all these together because they're for Jeannie.
Before we approve it, John, how's that project coming, Paul? That renovation on the third floor or what, Hall Justice?
Getting ready to hang sheet rock. Got everything up there, and it's supposed to start act like it's gonna start yesterday. I had made it back up here day before I was up there.
Well, would it be all right to, what'd you say, 70,000, John?
$70,650.
Would it be okay to go ahead and turn it loose?
Yeah, they're way ahead.
Okay, John.
Authorize a check in the amount of $4,600 to Customers Glass and Carpet Incorporated for the Belfry Fire Department number 3. Authorize a check in the amount of up to $2,000 to Alchemy Engineering Associates for geotechnical services for the Belfry Volunteer Fire Department number 3. Authorize a check in the amount of $8,798 to Eastern Telephone for broadband and phone line service for teleworks.
I need a motion.
John, is that for the new building, that old Ford Mountain?
Yes.
Are they upgrading it, or?
Ask Jeannie. These are her requests.
Through August, and then we return it and we'll send it to DLG and get reimbursed for it. Just to get reimbursed. Over Teleworks? No, that's for phone lines and broadband service. Yes. Yes. We get it back from DLG through a co-separate project.
These companies that we're working for, they're not responsible for the phone lines and?
No, we've been paying their phone lines and their broadband. That's the deal you all made with them when they first went over there.
How long is it gonna be like that?
Well, I guess whenever the court decides they want to change it.
But we're working for them. We're creating jobs, right?
Yes.
And we're paying the bill.
We're paying the, yes, they're there for.
It's pass-through money though, isn't it?
This is pass-through money. I'm getting reimbursed. We're getting reimbursed.
Right now you are, but if they cut it off
No, after August, we'll have to, that'll be ours.
after August,
Yes.
so can we negotiate with them then, or?
Can try. We sure can.
Anything of the upgrades and improvements we've done with coal severance money stays at that facility that we've done for them. We don't lose it.
The way I understood what Jim said on John is that's a monthly bill that we have that we're paying, right? And we're working for these companies, and I guess to generate jobs.
And I saw, I think, an article, don't they have some companies in here looking to use Teleworks as their service provider, and could end up putting maybe a lot more jobs for people to work. Do you remember who the companies are, Jeannie? I read that article, and they were good article about who was coming in.
On that broadband?
Uh-huh.
I talked to him.
We need a motion.
Uh-huh.
Need a motion in a second.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Compton?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Daskins?
Yes.
I have no further business, but want to let the court know, so you can let the employees know, that the checks will be allowed to leave tomorrow. We're going to issue them with tomorrow's date on them. So probably 1 or 2 o'clock as they come in for the evening, they can come get the checks and take them to their employees. That way we don't interrupt the day. So Jimmy, can you run checks tomorrow? Run checks tomorrow about 1 or 2?
You done?
I have no further business.
Are you done, honey?
Yes, he said fine.
Oh, okay. All right.
He's gonna put his-
Commissioners and directors' comments. Paul?
I just want to know if the court, if they want to let the county employees be off Friday or not.
I think it'd be a good idea. What about the court?
Bill, that's your call. You're the judge.
You make it, Judge.
Employees will be off Friday.
Draw declaration.
Motion.
Official holiday.
Second.
That's your motion?
Yep.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Compton?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Daskins?
Yes.
Judge, going back to teleworks, I found the article, it was YMTs I had read, that some very familiar national companies are touring East Kentucky this week, looking to possibly bring jobs to the region. 11 companies are in Eastern Kentucky, including Amazon, Hilton, and Williams-Sonoma. The companies are partnering with Teleworks USA to hire people to provide technical support and customer service. Officials estimate the companies could hire hundreds of people in Eastern Kentucky. Cornett said that since January 2015, Teleworks has hired nearly 1,500 people in the region, and officials believe after these companies tour Eastern Kentucky, jobs could open in as quickly as 2 weeks.
All right. Let's see, you have anything?
I do, Judge.
Okay.
Got a few comments here. One is, I apologize for not being at the last meeting. I learned it's kind of important to be here. But I had some other important issues I wanted to deal with, and it's troubling my mind. One was on Big Hackney. The road is so bad there, it was falling into the river. You know, and the newspapers, not the newspaper, but YMTV was up there, and East Kentucky Broadcast, people got them up there, and it was a real dangerous area there where the shoulders slid into the river, and you think of a busload of kids could have a problem there and lose their life or get injured, but all lives are important. And I closed that road down, and you just can't put a barricade up. People move those, and we dumped a load of rock in the middle, and we closed that road. And I was up there looking at that, and we also, earlier, I was looking at a wolf mountain over in Lower Brushy. It was slid off, and we had to close it down, too. And we've got several problems throughout the county. It's tough. And Sycamore Mountain is also slid off about halfway. And as me and Ike went up there and looked at them, we got a gas line that trees could fall in and break off. So we had a guy that's over the gas lines come by, and we flagged, and he cut the tree. And we contacted the gas company to come in and try to deal with that problem. And in order for the people to travel there, not close that road because it's a big slide, we needed about 6 drains. And it's kind of tough in District 1, and I need the court's guidance what to do here to a degree. And we run this problem a year ago, but District 1 is broke. So, but he had to have those drains in that ditch yard to widen the road out, move the road over, and I told I could go ahead and get the drains. But what do I do when they, he spent out his money, but public safety is an issue, and I made that call on that one, and and it's troublesome what to do. What should I do on those where he spent beyond his money? But some things, such a necessity. But it has to be taken out of other people's funds, I know, and what does the court think about that, for one thing? And another one's on Chapman Fork, Hillman, and me and you've discussed that, where the county put a turnaround up in a hollow up there where the bus could turn around in the garbage trucks, and citizens comes up in this hollow. There's one house beyond this turnaround, and we put a drain in there, and the individual lives in the last house, as I've been told, owns the property, and he give us the right to put a drain in there and use his property. Well, this individual that lives right across there has been blocking that, and I've got several calls from Mr. Dotson on it, and I went and talked to the gentleman probably 8 months ago, and I told him he need to not be blocking that turnaround, and the county put that drain in there and used that other person's property to make a place to turn. And anyway, I didn't think weekends be much of a problem, but it's become a problem with that deal, because people come up through there and need to turn around, and they have to go up in this other man's driveway to turn around, and he doesn't so much want that to happen. So the court, I would think, needs to send that guy that's using her turnaround and blocking a letter telling him that's, a turnaround and not to be used for his personal use. I would think that'd be appropriate in that deal.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And then put a sign up so he knows that is county property, and then if he continues to do that, tag his car and have it towed in.
What do I do on the spending money and District 1 of, you know, some things, it normally goes on your work crew in their areas, but where you got to spend extra money for gravel, see, Rockies needs, what can we do?
I don't think it'd be fair to the other magistrates.
Herbie, I think the way we do it in the past, or done it in the past, is Jonda would charge it off to the next budget. Is that right, Jonda?
I just asked her, and yeah, it would, but
Charge it off to the current budget.
It's got tough budgets.
We charge it off to the current budget.
You give yourself a problem.
I haven't been. Well, some others have been in the hole too, and we've tried to take care of it and cover it. And I think there's an extra payment still due by June 30th, isn't there, on the Ford Mountain? Okay, so it'll be the new budget.
We got that prolonged so we can afford to do it.
I thought the way you done it, Jonda, was you went ahead and carried it over, and then when the new budget come in, you would subtract what you had gave them away from the new budget. That's
In the past, I had if I carried forward the plus money. If I carried forward the plus money, I took away what was overspent. But here in the last few years, we haven't been carrying anything over, so everybody started with a slate clean. But if you want me to take it off at July 1, I can.
It's not up to me, it's up to...
It's up to the court, that's
up
what...
to the court how they do. I try to keep a little extra in my account. I don't... But sometimes you have emergencies, you have to spend it.
It's not fair as you think, but it just troubles me what to do there, what's the right thing to do. But these other boys are sacrificing their money, and they've had some more expense in District 1 there where they used to have to go and they had a place, they got a lot of shot rock, and they lost that place to get it, and they've had to purchase some shot rock, and that put them in a little bit of a burdensome thing. But I would just like to ask my guys here, because I really don't know what to do there. But the drains, they put them in there, the people that had trouble crossing that mountain, and I...
Have you talked to Jeff?
Told him to do that.
Have you talked to Jeff about it?
I talked to Ike.
You ain't talked to Jeff?
I called Jeff, he don't answer the phone. So what do I do? Ike's wanting to get some gravels, and I've held him off on that. Except, well, we got one load there for one deal, he was another emergency deal looking. It's a trouble deal.
What do we do, Herbie?
if it's an emergency, I think that we could do something, but ordinarily, if you have X amount of dollars to spend and you run out, you gotta quit spending.
Herbie, I think the best way to do it would be talk to Jeff Anderson and see if it'd be all right with him to continue his expenditures, and then when you get a new budget, just subtract it from it. What do you think, County Attorney?
From that, see if he would allow that. That seems like that's fair. He'll
Keith?
have a budget for 6
That money right now is what I'm looking at as a businessman. I always a thrifty guy. But that money that you take out today, and if Jeff takes out the next budget like him was talking about, but in the meantime, the money's coming out of other people's money and could shorten them and shorten the budget here and create a problem the present other road crews has got there. So
Jack, it's not coming out of nobody else's budget. Everybody has their own separate budget. The only thing is, John said she's found ways in the past to take care of it.
I've got a little question there, and my thought though is money doesn't, grow there neither. So if she's paying bills in District 1 and there's no money there in District 1, that money has to come from somewhere.
General fund. Right, John?
There may be extra money left in diesel fuel and gasoline expense. I go through there and look at other places to see where there's money left and pull it not from a fund. I pull it from a fund line item. Could be in health insurance, could be in salaries somewhere if there's extras. That's how I try and use it throughout the road department.
I know last year Ike called me about everything he spent, and the deal, and we was trying to micromanage it a little bit then, but I don't mind whichever, but the public, we got safety issues, and that's the reason I did the drain deal, and that's a little bit of expense there, and loads of gravels are, but no matter, I like to do things right, but I don't want to get out there in trouble and do something wrong.
I wasn't going to make that decision. I wasn't.
What do you recommend?
If you all want to let him be able to work through the end of June and let him get, Herbie could ask him if he cares if it's took off come July 1, that's what we'll allow him to do, to run it in the red.
John, I don't have a problem.
I know.
Some extra.
But
If you want to let him use some of my money and put it back when he gets his new budget, you know, I don't have a problem with that. Or ever how you want to work.
I wasn't going to make the call, because I wanted the court to be aware of what's going on and
How y'all feel about it?
Tell me what to do.
I think it's all right to carry it over and take it out of his next year's budget.
Okay.
I mean,
That's what we'll do.
He's just borrowing from the present.
As my daddy used to say, robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
But by the same token, the Mazards that are lucky enough to have a surplus at the end of this, that money leaves, doesn't it? It goes to the, it carries
If,
over.
as I make the budget, that I could have extra, then I can give it back to you, if that's the way the court would like me to write the budget, to give the extra.
I think that if we overspend and we're going to take money from next year's budget forward, if we have a plus, it should be added to next year's.
Okay, we'll take that into consideration making the budget.
Yeah, I remember you took Chick's money one time. He never did get over it.
We told him to spend it.
You remember, he never got over it.
Oh, no. He still asks me about it day after day.
Still does.
I think that would be the best solution, because we never know when we're going to have an emergency and have to spend out. Then whatever you got, take it out of the next one. He ain't going to have to worry about it because he ain't running. Right?
Well, he's running, but...
I'm talking about he's not running for magistrate.
So, do you have to vote on that, I would assume, or just go ahead and spend necessity money?
I think it was pretty clear, Jack. If he needs something, go ahead and get it, and then take it off of the next budget.
Okay, sounds fine to me. I just want to be on legal grounds.
And
my other comment here, you know, when I first got this job, it took a few months, and we had always floods and freezes and stuff to get my feet on the ground. But I talked to John Doug, and I really miss that young'un, but he's up in Virginia still. I checked on him the other day. He's got pneumonia, and he's having a rough time, but his legs, they're getting some shots in where they're drawing up on him and spasms and stuff. But anyway, we sat down and talked, and he went over the do's and don'ts in this county government, because I want to follow the rules of the law. And he instructed me on several things and the way to go about doing things. And one thing that as I learned by missing last week, I watched that on YouTube at meeting, and I got kind of roasted a little bit, or a whole lot really. But you know, some people has an opinion us people in Phelps or Belfry in a rural area are not intelligent, and Keith made a comment that I wasn't no scholar to that woman and need to deal with him, but I didn't think the road department's his department. But he made that statement there, and maybe I ain't no scholar, but I did get a pretty good education. I went to college a while, and I've got a lot of knowledge from working in my career as a construction guy and a business guy. So I might not match his high intelligence, but I got some. But anyway, as Paul Harvey says, here's the rest of the story. And will you put that on the thing there, on the road that was a debate on Johnson Heights? Okay, we got that up there on the screen there in Johnson Heights. And as I was telling you, try to follow the rules and spend the taxpayers' dollars wisely. That road on Johnson Heights goes 425 foot, and it looks like a little star there. And if you notice, it comes off from Raccoon Creek, and it goes up 425 feet. That lady that come in here the other day, and you know, she may not understand the things, but she, and I've tried to explain it to her on the phone, she's probably out there another 600 or 800 feet beyond where the county has in the road system. So that's the first thing you should do in something, I would think, is how far does the road go? How much is in the county system? Because you put a footage in when you take it in the system. You put a footage down, you put a width down. So that's the first criteria you should have seen. But I don't know if that was important to some people's mind, what was really true, the reality of it. But back down below that, as I explained to that woman, and I'm very much aware that was in the road system, because we worked on this about 2 months ago when the FEMA come in here. We got a break there on that deal where you can see right in this area, right in here where the lines is, right there. We got back right there. There's a break there, and we got FEMA to come in and look at that, and we can't afford to do all the work. We got hundreds of, well, maybe in the millions of dollars worth of work to do in this county, but that's on the system to be fixed, and I was glad to see it. FEMA's approved us, and the money hopefully is on the way. But that was, we wrote that up, so I was very much aware that was in our system. And I was trying to explain to Urban, but when I was talking, I liked to, maybe I was short or he was short in the thought process. I said that woman's road wasn't in the system. The part that she travels, and there's one house beyond the star, behind the 425 feet, going straight ahead, there's one house, and that's her house, out there 600 to 800 feet more. And to the left, there's another house, but it's not in the road system. And the slide she was talking about on her deal was out there beyond the county jurisdiction, but if it comes in on the state road, which is not in my jurisdiction or y'all's jurisdiction. So things wasn't quite presented to the facts of the story. As Paul Harvey said, and the rest of the story is clear that my opinion of that is the right opinion, and she's not in the road system. 425 feet is the deal, and it's paved to that part. I had my road foreman go up there, and we went up there last week, and we looked it over, mapped it, and engaged it, and that's the paperwork it shows you. 425 feet, and I've got here too, on another paper shows you what that is. So, you know, a little common sense goes a long ways in this life, and I've tried to use common sense and good judgment and try to do things in the legal bounds. And if that's wrong, then I guess I'll be wrong in something, but I believe it's just a little political burn. Thank you for your time.
Well,
Jack, I think the way she explained it, that the county had paved that road at one time or other since she's been up there, and there was about 4 other homes in the area that she lives that had to go by that.
You can guide this thing better here than me. Guide that, show the rest of the area there. There's one single house to the right there, and one to the left, and it's not in the road system. And somebody made the comment, forget who it was, said if it's paved, which that part is paved, the pave ends right there at the end of the 425 feet. And someone said that if a road's paved, it must be in the road system. Well, that's not always the truth neither, because down on where the camper system is down there, I guess 2.5 years ago, when Willard Kahn was the road foreman down there, he wanted me to come down and look at the system and put a drain in. And so I went down there, and that road was hot, and they wanted to put a drain in on the weekend, and I went down and looked for what they need a drain for, just put a ditch in the drain. It was going to that trailer court over there, private property, not a trailer court, but a camper deal. And I told them not to do that. And I said, furthermore, I looked on 911 map, and that road going down goes down and goes straight and turns to the left. And where he was trying to get me to do put the drain in and do the ditch deal, it turned to the right. And I went up, I told the guys to come down with me and show me what to do, and Willard wasn't on the job that day. And so one of the guys went down after overtime and looked at the road and showed me what they was going to do. And I told them, no emergency. We didn't need to waste our money on working on Saturday. And then plus more, that drain went to a private deal, and that wasn't going to be put in. And I said, furthermore, this road here ain't in the system. Don't believe it. Here come Willard down about that time. He said, yeah, we hardtopped this. I said, you did it illegally, and it's hardtopped, and it's not in the system. And it's about 400 feet out there to a single house. and I happened to kind of smell something and went to 911 a few days before and seen the way it was mapped out. And just because it's hardtop don't mean it's in the system.
Well, if it's not in the county system, I don't know what we can do about it. So.
That part that's in the road system, we will work on the stuff, and you got it turned into FEMA too, don't you?
Yes, we've already on that ball, and we own that slide there, it's in the road system, and that'll be done when we get the money. And we will take care of what's in the county road system. I have no quarrels with nobody, don't know that woman. But I don't care if it's my brother, sister, or mom, I'm not doing something illegal.
All right. County Attorney's report.
Judge, nothing I can think of right now unless somebody has any questions of anything going on in our office right now.
I do have one question that the people of Phelps areas asked me over and over again, and I brought this up in court in the past. You know, we tucked up a few graves down in Pounding Mill, it was on the side of the road, but the county or the state one, I don't know who did it, but we hard-topped over top of a grave there, and there's people's bodies back under there, and we're desecrating those graves every day. And the people of Peter Creek is important as anybody in the Blackberry area. Some people in Blackberry is there too, I reckon, Wolford's, and some unknown people. But we ride over that road every day, and people keep asking me, and that Wolford boy really giving me a rough time, and I've done my best all I could do because I thought I'd get that done in 2 weeks. But there's a lot of paperwork on it. I went to Judge Coleman and I took some paperwork to him, and he told me what to do, and I took the paperwork to Keith. And it's been nearly a year, and it ain't done, and that's something that needs to be done, and that is in your deal. I mean, I can get the road crew out there to dig the road up, but I can't do the legal work.
We need to do to get it in front of a circuit judge like Judge Coleman or Judge Combs. I went over and looked at that property this week and saw where they saw the area. Went up there on Pounding Mill up through there and looked at it and talked to some people, talked to some of the family, and we just need probably, I'm checking to see right now, may need the vote of the court to file the suit against unknown heirs. I've got a list of the heirs in there and the family names. I've been putting it together. We probably will have to have a vote of the court to file the suit against unknown heirs and just name them in case some of the family members want to have some input. Most of the people that are in there were buried there in the 20s and 30s. Most of them were. And believe it or not, most of the relatives are pretty easily to identify. I've got a lot of the relatives already identified, and we'll have to name unknown heirs. It's a little more complicated than you think to file a suit like that. Have to notify everybody, and then also we have to post it in the paper for 3 weeks. And anybody wants to have any input, it'll be a circuit court action. Judge Coleman probably won't be the one hear it because he already knows or is giving some advice on the case. So it'll probably be Judge Combs or a special judge, but we'll get that filed.
Chief, who do we have to file suit against?
You really aren't naming, it's really not against anybody. You're really just naming a lot of people, just like you do when you quiet title to a piece of property. You name a lot of people if they want to come in and assert their interest.
It's family members, so they have a...
My understanding is one of the family members is already willing to pay for it, and there's a funeral director also, the West guy over there.
West?
Yeah.
I think one of them was 19 and 10, is that right?
Seems to me like they were all in the 1900s, but...
And what happened on that road was, it was a state road up until Earl Sullivan was a magistrate. And he traded with Governor Patton when he was over the state when he was governor. And that point it became a county road. So it'd been a state road all them years, and I don't know what year it was paved or whenever.
I would think in the 90s.
But we're getting ready this summer to recap a lot of that road, and we probably need to get it took care of before they pave it.
Yeah, that'd be a good time to do it.
Yeah, that was a problem, Hillman, because we got that in a section to be paid by flex money.
Yeah.
And again, I'd hate to pave it and then tear it back up again. That's not wise use of your money, so we need to try to get that done. And I think what the undertaker told me was the known and unknown people. Some people we know who they are there, but some people aren't, so the unknown and known that you got to get a court action to do.
Be moved by shovel on it. I mean, it won't be excavator work.
Yeah, we can do some with equipment, cut the road where you don't do a lot of damage. You cut it and that way it don't rip it over the place. And we can cut the road and then take off a little dirt, but I talked to the jail crew way back, and I had them volunteering to come in and do it by hand and shovel and help us and save a lot on labor there. But that's been 8 or 9 months ago, I guess. I would assume Morse would go along with that too. That was under Freddie.
Well, you finished, Jackie? Pike County Judge Executive's comments. I need a motion to...
Hold on just one moment, Judge. I want to get added to the acknowledged receipt of the sheriff's 2550 account. The clerk's has presented hers now, so I need to add the clerk's into that order that we've got both 2550 accounts.
Motion to acknowledge.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Compton?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Dotson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Disk?
Yes.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Now I make a motion to adjourn.
What about, did you made executive order to let the people off Friday, right? Yeah, okay.
Done.
I'll second that motion, Judge.
All right, need a roll call.
Magistrate Compton?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Dotson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Disk?
Yes.